Let's head, where are we going to head? Let's head over to Penn State, where they were hosting Ohio State. And the Nittany Lions got off to a great start. It was 10-0, but then Ohio State woke up. The Buckeyes win 20-13. There were some big names on campus. We previewed it coming into the weekend, but Steve, let's talk about what was out at Happy Valley. Let's start with tight end Andrew Olish. He's committed to Michigan, but was out there at this game. What do you think of Andrew Olish and what's going on with Penn State?
Well, I talked to him and his father, George, following the game. They had a great time outside of the result of the game. I think his dad particularly felt bad that Penn State did not get the win today, falling 20-13 to Ohio State. And these games against each other are fantastic games year in and year out with the same ending over and over and over. And it's James Franklin and company's worst nightmare right now. But the beauty is with the 12-team college football playoff, they're still right there in the mix to make it to the college football playoff, maybe avenge this loss and find some big wins down the stretch. Andrew Olish could be a big win for them at the end of this 2025 recruiting cycle as well. I know he can see himself at Penn State, loves the offense, the trajectory of it. Sees a big opportunity for a tight end to be the key playmaker. James Franklin met with him on the field before the game around 11 a.m. and told him Penn State's got everything you need to be successful here. He felt that Ty Howell and some of the tight ends that he's developed over the course of his career, that stands out to Olish as well. He's committed to Michigan. He's at Notre Dame next weekend for the Florida State game. He was at Oregon last weekend. I think he's going to get back to Oregon for an official visit. So we'll see how this continues to play out, but I could definitely see Andrew Olish in Penn State's class when all said and done.
Wow. That's a bit of big news there for Penn State fans. Now, some more big news. 5-star quarterback Matt Zollers showed up on campus today for this Penn State game. He famously committed to Missouri over really Georgia. I mean, Penn State was definitely involved with them, but at the time it was more of a Georgia race. But Missouri 5-star quarterback Matt Zollers on campus, Steve, what does it mean?
Well, anytime a quarterback, specifically a quarterback of that magnitude, takes a visit, it raises my antenna. Now, he's saying all the right things. He's locked in with Mizzou. Told our colleague Chad Simmons he's going to be at Mizzou next weekend for the Oklahoma game. So I think it's still an uphill climb for Penn State, but similar to Michigan's aspirations with Bryce Underwood, I think that Penn State would like to make a run at Matt Zollers here late in the cycle. Carter Smith's another name to maybe keep an eye on for Penn State, recently decommitted from Michigan. Carter Smith and his family, his dad told me that they're expecting to hear more from Penn State on Monday. Wouldn't be a surprise if he's at the whiteout game next weekend when Penn State tries to get back on track. I believe they have Washington for the whiteout game next weekend. But that game couldn't have come at a better time as they look to play in front of an energized crowd and get a win. And you see these, I know the fans are tired of losing to Ohio State. They have the chore of playing against the Buckeyes every year, man. It ain't easy. They lose one game a year typically during the one regular season. If that, sometimes they lose 0. Penn State battled them every year. I think James Franklin and company have done a good job there. If there was 12-team playoffs before this year, they'd been in it a few times and competing and seeing what happens in round 2 against some teams as they try and avenge some losses. But they'll get a chance maybe this year to get another crack at the Buckeyes if they can take care of business the rest of the way.
Yeah. Let's double back to Matt Zollers real quick. What do you think was the reason he was there? Do you think Matt Zollers is looking around? Do you think he just wanted to go to a big game? And if he is looking around, do you think there's any other programs that he's entertaining besides Penn State?
He told me that he came to this game because it was a big game and he just wanted to see a great game between two opponents. But there's no question he got a chance to meet with Coach Kotelnicki, Coach O'Brien, Coach Franklin floating around. And again, these quarterback recruitments, sometimes it takes a lot of resources to win a quarterback recruiting battle on the trail too. And so we'll see. I feel like late in the process for a lot of these top targets, resources are going to come together and opportunities are going to be put on the table, and we'll see if there's any flips late. But right now, Matt Zollers says he's locked in with Mizzou, was just going to the game to go to a great game, and he'll be back at Mizzou next weekend.
Great intel. I mean, this is why we do the recruit reaction show. Where else can you get 5-star intel like that coming out of the game? I mean, they're literally still on the field out there. And Steve, you got intel straight from the 5-star quarterback. Any other names of interest in Happy Valley that you want to talk about?
Well, Romero Eisen's on 300 receiver that's committed to USC that Penn State's still swinging at. They had a bunch of underclassmen on campus. Matt Sieg's a 4-star safety that committed to the Nittany Lions before the game. Nice pickup for them in the 2026 class. And I think a lot of the kids that were there could see themselves playing in those kind of atmospheres and environments and helping Penn State come out on top. Those are 3 guys right there that Penn State's at or near the top of the list for, particularly Joey O'Brien. I love where the Nittany Lions stand with Joey O'Brien right now in his process.
All right, Steve, let's wrap it up. But first, talk a little bit about Ohio State. I mean, a huge win for the Buckeyes. What does it mean for the Buckeyes on the recruiting trail?
Yeah, so the Buckeyes are in the mix to finish with On3's #1 ranked recruiting class, sitting at #2 right now. Just a reminder that, hey, we're still Ohio State. We can go on the road and win a big game. Lost a tough one to Oregon earlier in the year, which limits their margin of error to get into the Big Ten title game, which would then improve their seed perhaps in the college football playoff. But anytime you can win a game like this, top 5, it certainly helps you rack up an inch or 2 on the recruiting trail. And they still have a chance to finish with the #1 class in the country. Naeem Offord was at Auburn today. But talking to his family, I still like where the Buckeyes sit with Naeem Offord. He's going to be back for the Michigan game. Oregon's still in there for Naeem Offord as well. But Ohio State continues to do all the right things in that recruitment. He loves the Buckeyes and the level that they play at and the way they develop their DBs, and he's looking forward to getting back to campus. Damola Ajidahan is an on 300 offensive tackle that's committed to Georgia Tech. He's making his 3rd visit to Georgia or to South Carolina tonight for the Texas A&M game. But Ohio State really gave them a great visit and moved the needle. So offensive line, a position of need for them as they try and finish out this 2025 cycle. They got a chance to land one of the nation's best there at the position. But it's full court press on Jakeem Stewart. They'd love to add him to this class. And wins like this certainly don't hurt in the pursuit of the blue chipper who wants to play in the biggest games in college football when he arrives on the scene.
Yeah, you got to have wins to land Jakeem Stewart. That recruitment has been heating up. All right, Penn State and Ohio State fans, talk recruiting with us in the comments section below. What changed this weekend? How you guys feeling coming out of this one? Let us know in the comment section below.